Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Today we're going to unpack a deeply emotional, honestly incredibly complex story about a tragic loss that literally shook an entire nation. We're looking at the life, the totally sudden passing, and the massive investigations surrounding Bollywood actor Shushaht Singh Rajput. Now, our goal here today is pretty straightforward. We want to separate these strictly official, proven facts from what has been, well, years of intense public speculation. So let's dive right in.
But before we get into the tragedy itself, we really need to understand the sheer scale of the narrative dissonance here. Like, how does a completely self-made superstar, a guy who basically represented the ultimate outsider success story, simply vanish? It's a question that haunted millions. People just couldn't reconcile the image of this incredibly fit, positive, soaring guy with the devastating reality of his passing. To really get why this hit everyone so hard, we kind of have to trace his steps from the very beginning.
Which brings us to Phase 1. From Patna to Mumbai. Let's rewind a bit. He was born into a middle-class family in Patna, Bihar, and was actually exceptionally bright, especially in his studies. He definitely wasn't born into Bollywood royalty. He was just a regular student with a very different path initially laid out in front of him.
And his ascent, it was absolutely meteoric and entirely unconventional. Back in 2003, he was studying mechanical engineering at the prestigious Delhi College of Engineering. But his heart was somewhere else. He actually left that secure, promising path behind, packed up, and moved to Mumbai. He started out in theater, struggled his way through the television industry until, boom, his 2009 debut in the hit serial Pavitra Rishta basically made him a household name. By 2013, he broke through into Bollywood with Kai Poche, which even earned him national award nominations. And then, 2016, he achieved just massive blockbuster success playing the iconic cricketer MS Dhoni. His performance was so incredibly authentic, people genuinely felt like they were watching Dhoni himself up on the screen. He went on to star in massive hits like Jishore and Kedarnath, rising to the absolute top of the industry entirely on his own merit.
Okay, let's move on to Phase 2, a brilliant star. Because what makes this story so fascinating is that his brilliance absolutely wasn't limited to just acting. He really wasn't your typical movie star. The guy was a literal polymath. Get this, he actually secured an all-India rank of 7 in a national physics Olympiad. That's huge. He was also deeply passionate about astronomy. He owned this high-powered telescope and spent hours just stargazing. Plus, he was an active entrepreneur who invested in a space tech startup, a voracious reader, and someone deeply invested in self-improvement. He was just a massive inspiration for countless streamers out there trying to make it big without those established industry connections.
But then we hit Phase 3, the dark day of June 14. Right during the height of the global COVID lockdown, this incredibly inspiring narrative brutally crashed into a devastating reality. On June 14, 2020, the shocking news broke. The 34-year-old actor was found dead in his apartment in Bandra, Mumbai. And man, the entire nation was brought to an absolute standstill. It was just this heavy moment of collective shock. People were asking, how could someone who just starred in Chikchore, a film literally about choosing life over despair, suddenly be gone?
Almost immediately, a stark contrast emerged that pretty much defined the next several years. On one side, you had the initial Mumbai police investigation and the postmortem report. They confirmed death by asphyxia due to hanging and explicitly noted there were absolutely no external injuries or struggle marks on his body. But on the exact opposite side, massive, undeniable public suspicion. Social media completely erupted with the hashtag Justice for SSR. The public fiercely suspected murder and deep industry conspiracies, with this running theory that the harsh realities of Bollywood nepotism had deliberately broken him. People honestly simply refused to believe he could take his own life.
So we enter Phase 4, investigation and media trial. The crucial point here is how this sheer public disbelief escalated into an unprecedented, multi-agency investigation coupled with a massive media trial. This became way, way larger than your standard police inquiry.
The case snowballed, and I mean fast. Step 1, his father filed an FIR in Patna, officially accusing the actor's girlfriend, Riya Chakraborty, and her family of abetment to suicide and financial fraud. Step 2, the case grew so monumental that the Supreme Court of India officially transferred the investigation over to the CBI. Then, Step 3, the Enforcement Directorate stepped in to probe money laundering angles, and the Narcotics Control Bureau joined in to investigate alleged drug links, which actually even led to the arrest of Riya's brother. It basically turned into this all-encompassing dragnet.
And right alongside this official probe was a media frenzy unlike anything we've really seen before.
The media trial grew so intense, so loud, and so heavily sensationalized that the Bombay High Court actually had to step in. They officially labeled certain news channels' coverage of the case as, quote, contemptuous. It was just a chaotic storm of daily accusations, leaked chats, and these wild primetime shouting matches.
All right, on to Phase 5, The Final Truth by the CBI. Shifting gears back to strict objectivity, let's look at what these exhaustive official investigations actually found over the years, completely stripped of all that external noise. The very first major factual milestone came in October 2020. The forensic team from Ames, led by Dr. Sudhir Gupta, submitted their comprehensive report to the CBI, and they delivered this definitive factual punch, explicitly stating murder completely ruled out. They officially confirmed there were no injuries on the body other than hanging, absolutely no signs of struggle, and completely dismissed all those circulating allegations of poisoning or strangling.
Fast forward a bit to March 2025. The CBI finally filed its ultimate closure report, concluding a meticulous 5-year investigation. And their findings? They found absolutely zero evidence to prove that anyone had forced or abetted the actor into committing suicide. The official, legally proven cause of death remains suicide.
Following the release of this closure report, Riya Chakraborty's legal team officially welcomed the findings. Her lawyer made a very pointed statement, really highlighting that his client had to endure 5 excruciating years of intense public and media wrath, despite there being absolutely no solid proof against her. This report finally brings a legal close to a profoundly turbulent chapter.
Which brings us to Phase 6, an important question. Because even though the official legal verdict is totally clear now and the case is closed, the movement sparked by his death left behind a lot of unresolved conversations. The intense debates around nepotism, the crucial importance of mental health awareness, and the often toxic politics of the entertainment industry, well, those continue to resonate very strongly even today.
Ultimately, the story leaves us with a profound dissonance to really reflect upon. No matter how positive, how physically fit, and how incredibly successful someone appears on the outside, can we ever truly see the storm raging inside? He looked like he had conquered the world, but his internal reality was clearly a battle we may never fully comprehend.
To conclude this explainer on a deeply human note, if you or someone you know is feeling isolated, mentally overwhelmed, or just struggling in silence, please do not stay quiet. Reach out. Speak to a trusted friend, a family member, or seek professional help because your life is incredibly precious. Thank you so much for joining me today to understand the facts and the profound lessons behind this story. As we finally close the book on Shushaht's story, we really have to ask ourselves, how can we build a world where the brightest stars don't feel forced to burn out in the dark? Keep learning, stay empathetic, and please, take care of yourselves.